Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my welcome back to my channel. I am outside in nature under a gazebo hut, and yeah, I decided to do this video on. Someone did a request. Well, someone wrote in one of the comments they wanted me to do a video on Mercury in the 8th house. Woo! Mercury in the 8th house. I can't really see myself right now, so I don't know if it's clear, but hopefully this video is clear and you can see me and you can hear me. Okay, so I want to discuss what it means to be a person with Mercury in the 8th house. So first things first, I want to mention is Mercury is the planet of communication. It's ruled by Virgo, the sign Virgo, and by Gemini. Gemini, the twins, and Virgo is a feminine figure, okay, a female figure in astrology. So it's not an animal, it's actually a being. For me, as an astrologer, I think Virgo is more of a concept rather than a person. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is that Mercury is the planet of communication, and it's associated with Virgo, the sign Virgo, and Gemini. Mercury is a very important planet in somebody's chart because it refers to how the person communicates or how the person goes about communicating, okay? Now, communication is so important because it's how we live, okay? It's how you learn things, it's how you understand things, it's how you process things, concepts that are extremely important in day-to-day life. So when you're looking at someone's chart as an astrologer or as someone who's just curious, like I am, you're going to be looking at their Mercury to understand their style in how they communicate. Their style and how they communicate. So as you can see, I'm outside. I'm wearing sunglasses for a reason because it's sunny out. But one of the things that I want to mention about the 8th house, the 8th house is a very dark place. It's not as dark as the 12th house. The 12th house is more of unseen, what you can't see, what you can see, and what you can't see. Whereas with the 8th house, it's more of like things that are hidden, but things that are hidden in reality. Okay, the 12th house is more of things that are hidden that you can't even see in reality, but you can think of them and deals with your subconscious mind. So when we're talking about the 8th house and Mercury is there, we're talking about communicating whatever's going on in the 8th house. And the 8th house deals with hidden things, scorpionic energy, Pluto energy, and Pluto energy is more associated with rebirth, transformation, death, joint finances, things that deal with, more than one person. Not necessarily partnerships, but dealing with more than one person in terms of a joint effort. Okay, it could be anything. Joint efforts are associated with this. So the point of me keeping my sunglasses on while I'm doing this video is I want to show you a point with Mercury, with people with Mercury in the 8th house. People with Mercury in the 8th house can reveal certain things through communication. So a person who has Mercury in the 8th house is very good at revealing or investigating certain things that deal with communication, like private investigating. These people talk about deep occult stuff. Their interest when they communicate with somebody is going to be about things that, an average conversation would not be about. Okay, an average conversation is not going to be about, how beautiful the roses were in the park today. It's going to be about things that you wouldn't usually generally talk to somebody about. that are very deep. So these people, right away when you see someone's Mercury in the 8th house, you know this person's intellectually, they're a deep person. They're a person that wants to talk about, you know, transformation, death, you know, the things that are really important, the things that are like deep inside of your soul, okay? People with Mercury in the 8th house are very, usually, unless there's an affliction or there's some sort of opposition in the chart, usually what happens is this person wants to communicate about things that are unseen, okay? And a person with Mercury in the 8th house would be very good at investigating. They would be very good at investigating, because then they can take those glasses off, okay? So they have the ability to uncover things, okay? By taking these sunglasses off, now you can see my face, you can see my eyes, you can see into my soul. So these people can be very deep. And if you get a person who has Mercury with the 8th house, they're going to know a lot about you, because they're going to be able to pull things out from you, of you, that you would have been like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that to that person, and now they know everything about me. Oh my God. You know, so, you know, these people can uncover things that you might not want them to know about, like things that are so deep that you would tell this kind of person, you'd be like, you better not tell anybody. Like, you better not tell anybody that you know this and this and this about me, stuff like that. So it's super important that it's super important that you be careful with what you say to this person, with Mercury in the 8th house. Now, like I said, Scorpio is very transformative. It deals with death and rebirth and sex as well too. The 8th house deals with sex. So, you know, death and rebirth is a huge concept. It's like talking about life after death, or talking about the things that you usually don't want to talk about. So people with Mercury in the 8th house want to talk about things that people usually don't want to talk about. Like, they're willing to sit down and be raw and be like, look, this is what it is. And they can also be secretive too, because these people will be able to pull stuff. They'll be able to pull from somebody else, but they'll keep their cards to their chest, these people, usually, unless, again, there's some sort of aspect that's affecting the person from being like that. Because I'll give you an example. If a person has Mercury in the 8th house, but they have, you know, something squaring their Mercury, like the sun, okay, their personality may be a little closed off, but maybe they have another planet or something that's conjunct Mercury in the 8th house. You know, that is going to make them more powerful in terms of how they communicate. So again, it's all about, you know, looking at Mercury and seeing how it interacts with the other planets, okay? So there's many factors. I'm not going to get into the factors. I just want you to understand that when Mercury is in the 8th house, a person is really going to want to communicate things that most people don't want to communicate about. They don't want to talk about those things. They're not everyday conversations. Private investigating is usually one of an interest for a person with Mercury in the 8th house. Like, these people want to uncover things. They want to uncover things that the average person doesn't know about. A person with Mercury in the 8th house is definitely going to be interested in astrology. They're going to be interested on how to, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say manipulate. I would say these people just want to figure out something about you so they can have some more power over you. It's the 8th house is all about power too, like, because it's so scorpionic, right? It's so scorpionic, and and we're dealing with things that people don't talk about every day. So as long as you keep that in mind and you understand the power of the eighth house and you put a planet in the eighth house, then you'll know how it works. Okay, because Mercury is about communication. So my suggestion for people who are interested in astrology and reading charts is that when you see Mercury in the eighth house, just be aware of how powerful this person's communication ability is, because these people have powerful, not necessarily one-on-one communication, but the ability to think about things in their mind and think about ways to uncover things that you wouldn't talk about. So if you're dealing with a person who has Mercury in the eighth house, you want to make sure that you're careful with what you say to this person, because this person can take the information that you give them and use it to their advantage. So that's the thing with the eighth house, is that we're dealing with the scorpionic house, which is the eighth house in astrology. It also has Aries components as well too, because Aries it doesn't have Aries components. My bad, sorry. My baby's distracting me. Sorry. Scorpio, eighth house, that's it. Death, rebirth, sex, joint finances, taxes, and the occult, astrology, black magic. Another thing, people with Mercury in the eighth house, they might be interested in black magic as well too. It might be something like how can they have power over the way someone expresses themselves. Like if I wanted to have control over the way someone expresses themselves, or I want to deeply understand why this person expresses themselves a certain way, I would want to get a person with Mercury in the eighth house, because that person with Mercury in the eighth house is going to be able to uncover all those things that an average person who doesn't have that in their chart will understand, which is a very beautiful thing. So yeah, what else can I think of when I think of Mercury in the eighth house? Just like I said in the video yesterday, I did a video on Mars in the eighth house. People with Mercury in the eighth house might also share ideas with other people on how they can communicate these ideas, because sometimes, Mercury deals with ideas. In order to express ideas, you have to communicate. In order to write an idea down, there's a form of communication involved. So when I see Mercury in the eighth house, I think to myself, well, there's definitely going to be some thinking involved. There's going to be ideas. There's going to be communication. There's going to be, these people are very inquisitive, Mercury with eighth house, because they're thinking, well, why do we die? Or what happens after we die? Or why does this person act like this? Or, what would happen if, this person and me join forces? Like, all these things, this is a very investigative type of aspect here with Mercury there. And Mercury is very busy. When we talk about Mercury, we're talking about mercurial. When somebody says something is mercurial, we're talking about something that moves very quickly. Something that moves very quickly, because Mercury is the closest to the sun. So if Mercury is the closest to the sun, any information that person gets from the eighth house is going to be very mercurial. It will be quick. It will be very quick. Okay, that's a key point. It will be very quick. It will be swift. So this person can uncover things that the average person who doesn't have that quicker, a lot faster. What else? Mercurial, quick. Another thing too, if you have Mercury retrograde in the eighth house, it's definitely going to be different on how you express this kind of aspect as well too, because when Mercury is retrograde, it's going backwards, not physically, but hypothetically, it's going backwards. I mean, we could see it from Earth going backwards, but it really isn't going backwards. So for me, it's like, if you do have Mercury retrograde in the 8th house, for example, then that person is probably going to be a lot more secretive than a person who has Mercury going forward. A person who has Mercury going forward in their chart is going to display all the attributes that I mentioned successfully without holding anything back. Okay? A person who has Mercury retrograde in the 8th house might know a lot of things, but they're not going to express those things. Like they wouldn't do their research and investigate something and share it with everybody. Okay? Because they have that Mercury retrograde. So, I think I did a video a couple of months ago back on if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart anywhere, not just necessarily in the 8th house, but if you do have it in your chart, then there's some information on that video. So I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I just want you to know that for me, from my analysis, from my experience, any planet that's retrograde is going to act differently than it would if it was direct in a chart. So Mercury in the 8th house, like I said, is very deep. This person is deep in terms of how they communicate, how they express, how they uncover information, how they create ideas about things that are out of our normal conversation. The occult, black magic, astrology, human design, new age, the age of astrology, death, what happens after we die, do we die, do we have karma, blah, 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 these things that most people are like, huh, when you talk to them about that, they're like, huh, what, I don't know what you're talking about, whatever. Yeah. So that's my idea of Mercury in the 8th house. If you have Mercury in the 8th house, or you know somebody who has Mercury in the 8th house, it's definitely a good idea to understand that this person is a very deep person. Anything with the 8th house is very deep. It's spiritual. It's out of this world. So yeah, that's going to be my video today on Mercury in the 8th house. So I hope you enjoyed this information that I provided to you. And if you do like it, please like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how it goes. I'm gonna try to do a video every day as much as I can to the best of my ability. And I would really appreciate that if anybody has any comments on certain aspects that they want to know about in astrology, like if you have a request or something, definitely let me know. Comment below, give me some ideas. I definitely want to talk more about the 2nd house and about Pluto. I really like Pluto because that's a transformative planet. So I'll be doing some of that soon as well too. So yeah, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm here to help. I have a passion for astrology. I love astrology. And I really think astrology is something that we need more every single day in our lives to give us some feedback about ourselves so we can expand ourselves and just, enjoy. So I'm going to hang out in the park and have some fun, And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out.